Does the red button still work?
You have to keep that one on. You don't have to use the buttons anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just on.
Mm-hmm.
So you better be careful. You guys need to be careful.
What do you guys? One of the lights has to. Mine and Melissa's are.
Okay. Ready? Alright. Meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, call to order. First agenda item is to approve the September 6th Planning and Zoning Commission minutes, which are very long, so hopefully you've had a chance to review them and look over them. Is there any concerns or questions? Not all in favor?
I think
You need a motion in this.
Motion, sorry, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
It's been a couple months now. All right, I move that we approve the September 6th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting minutes.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
No, I think this one colored.
No.
it's a voice vote.
No, you change
I have to
that.
ask, she's the
That got
expert.
changed a couple meetings ago. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Hearing none, minutes approved. Staff report?
We will try to keep this short. We're incredibly busy with $12.1 million worth of public construction going on in town, all of it at the same time now. The bridge is getting ready to close. If it hasn't already, I haven't been out of City Hall. It closed. Second Creek Bridge is now closed. It will be closed for roughly 120 days while that bridge is demolished and replaced.
And so the only way around is 92 around?
Yes, yes, so when we go to the sewer treatment plant, we've got to drive all the way around. And so do all the residents. Traffic control's up, notifying for a week, letting folks know it's going to close, so now everybody gets the extra 5.5 mile drive round trip for everybody. That's started. Streetscape is getting ready to make a major transition from the area in front of City Hall and the next block over. That should be, if the weather holds, able to be fully open with asphalt down by Monday of next week, so that they can now burden the folks from up north who drive through downtown and close the bridge. And they'll start at that end and work to the paved area they just did. That'll be closed for 2 to 3 weeks. They have a bunch of underground stuff, all the curb, all the bump outs, all that work. That'll 2 to 3 weeks to do it. It won't be paved this year, but at least the main drag of Main Street will come back open. MoDOT finished the bridge work last week, 2 weeks ago, last week. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, drive through it, it's looking very good. Should be going out to bid the city for the trail design that will connect the park, Smith Fork Park, to downtown. And it will use that new pedestrian lane on the south side of that bridge as part of it. It looks really, really nice. So that all that's going on. From a residential construction standpoint, we're at 183 single-family home permits. That includes the fourplex, Clay Creek 4 in a rows. It includes all of the single-family stuff designed or considered single-family by the Department of Commerce. That's how we count ours. I know other communities count them differently. I had a couple of questions about that last week, why we're counting fourplexes as single-family homes. And my response is, as it's always been, because that's the way the building code calls them out, and the Department of Commerce calls them out. In any event, 183. That's the most we've had since 2004. So we kind of returned. From a commercial standpoint, I anticipate in the next month or so to start seeing underground construction up on the hill, I would anticipate. The last easement for sewer line has apparently been acquired. I've been involved in several meetings. I know the mayor's had conversations with the developer up there and one of the adjoining property owners. That has apparently been resolved. And I'm anticipating here shortly the paperwork that has to come through my office to get approved for a boundary line adjustment will occur, and we'll get that all done. Then they'll be free to start construction. A lot of little conversations on my ear about potential commercial, nothing big. For next meeting, so you can be prepared. We should have the preliminary plat for Eagle Heights, which is the subdivision south of Wildflower. Zoning on that, annexation and zoning was approved in September. So that will be coming. We're finalizing the development agreement associated with that. So that one will be here. There will be a commercial subdivision for 4 or 5 lots. I haven't looked at it in a bit. Off of Stonebridge Lane. And it will finalize the final plat information so that we can actually have Stonebridge Lane fully dedicated to the city. And there will be commercial lots on the south side of that field on Stonebridge Lane. It will become 4 or 5 commercial lots. There will be the nursery conceptual plan with the lots. That will be coming next month as well. I think that's the only items on the agenda. We still have a few more days before the deadline of submittals comes through. All of those for sure will be on, maybe 1 or 2 more, we'll see. So we're going to be continuing to stay busy. I think that's it. Sorry it took so long, but we're busy.
Lots going on. You can just drive through town and, you know, it is exciting though to see so much going on. And the growth that's happening. Any questions for Jack?
I think the other one Jack missed is 180th Street.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yes, that's on target.
Yes.
They're moving along, we haven't been up there, so it's pretty nice.
It looked like they were incredibly, for a long time, it looked like they were very, very, very far behind, and staff were starting to get concerned. And then in a matter of 3 days, they laid nearly all the asphalt, or all the pavement. Boom! So they're back on schedule from a visual perspective. They're going to start doing all the intersection ties shortly.
And they've got Newport closed, I know, right?
Yeah, and one of the reasons they haven't done the intersection work is they have dozens of people, even in the cold stuff, walking through that area now, wanting to get it done. And ultimately, they want to keep it so that they keep people off of it until they get it graded, because, you know, with the 5.5 inch thick wall, it's real easy for somebody to trip and fall. So they're trying to keep everybody on until it's ready to go.
On that, I know they had to do the setbacks for the entrance of Harborview on both sides.
Yes.
One side is new Harborview, the other side is the old Harborview. And, you know, in doing that, you know, they cleared out several shrubs and different things. I think they did a good job as far as keeping it fairly decent and not tearing it all to pieces, you know, terribly, but I didn't know if there was anything else they were going to put back or do, or, because there was a lot of shrubs and stuff.
Yes, the details of all that are worked out between the contractor and the 2 different HOAs.
Well, the old subdivision didn't really have any choice.
And they have a gentleman who is indicating he's kind of that guy. So my guess is he has the corner lot.
Yeah,
right there.
Well,
In any event, they've been working with those folks to match it up the way they were.
okay.
The marina drive entrance, we had to do a slight change to the contract to build a retaining wall for their, whatever you want to call the big mound of stuff where their sign sits, the landscape area there, substantially encroached into the right of way, so we had to build a wall to hold that stuff up and move a bunch of irrigation stuff, so. They're on track to get it done before their December 10th deadline,
I have a question about the commons. We're getting a lot of questions from people about what's happening in the commons.
That's what he's talking about on the bill.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, the marketplace up on the hill, the commercial on the hill, they've got the last easement off-site.
So we should start seeing something.
Hopefully in a month.
That's my daily call.
Yeah. And thanks to the mayor's daily calls, it generates an email or two a week for me. Here's where we are, here's where we are, this is the update. They have obtained approval, I forgot to mention this, for a secondary entrance right next to Croft Trailer Supply. So they'll have MoDOT has already approved everything for that. So they'll have their main entrance with all the lights and all that. But then they'll also have a secondary entrance. The fire department is very pleased with that secondary egress egress.
And they still have to widen the entrance to
They,
match.
all the other stuff they have to do. This is just an extra entrance.
There's an in out. It's not just a right turn only, it's a full entrance.
Can I ask a question? Do you know if there's a traffic light that's gonna go in around there?
Absolutely.
There.
Hospital Drive will have a traffic light. They are obligated, in addition to putting the traffic light in, there'll be a bunch of lane improvements. And they have to put in the computer system that links that light with this light and 92, and the commercial. So, right, so that during southbound rush hour in the morning, it's not stoplight, green light, stoplight, all the way through, it'll go that way, and then reverse, on the coming home traffic, those will be staggered so that they keep traffic moving.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to the annexation hearing for 1801 Northeast 188th Street. Jack, do you want to?
Procedurally, there are two aspects to this. The annexation hearing, I presented you with a visual depiction of the adjusted request for annexation. It's sort of an L-shaped lot. That's the area that they want to annex. And then the second hearing is the zoning hearing, and it's the stuff on the bottom. It shows you where the boundary lines for the AR versus A1 will be. The area that's highlighted in gray is in fact two different lots, platted in the county in 2004. Those two lots will be, the one lot that's undeveloped, you can't hardly see it. It will be merged into the remainder of the big lot around it. One owner owns all of it except for the little spot that's not going to be in the annexation. So they're requesting to join into the city, other than, that, like I said, that one little spot, which is rather common here in town. And then ultimately, so from a public hearing standpoint, it's contiguous. By looking at it, you can see at least 15% of the boundaries touch the city. So that's the only, and it's identified the comprehensive plan as, that's actually going to be in the zoning. I blended them together in my mind, I apologize. So from a procedural standpoint, Madam Chairman, what we need here is an annexation hearing, public hearing. Let anybody come speak that wants to speak on for or against the annexation. And then after that public hearing, you close it, you guys discuss it, make your vote, and then we'll move to item 5.
Is there anyone public that wants to speak to this?
Yes, I I have no objection to it.
Could you come to the mic, please, and state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Danny Summers, and I live in
Danny,
Fort Lebanon.
and Danny, we're talking about the annexation off of 188.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, oh, sorry.
I'll be
It'll
on.
be on the next one.
You're late, so I.
Okay, so I have nobody else for the annexation. Okay, close the public portion for that. Do I have a motion to annex 1801 Northeast 188th Street into the city limits? So not zoned yet, we're
Right.
not zoning yet, just annexing into the city. Yes.
I move to annex in 1801 Northeast 188th Street.
Second,
I'll second it.
discussion, any concerns, comments?
Is there an easement on the east side along the county green?
No,
I know the county was trying to get something there for one of the
Right.
trails.
right. There isn't,
I just saw the extra line on the drawing, so.
yeah, it ultimately, Clay County GIS mapping maps exactly what, the boundaries lines are shown in the legal descriptions. If they don't match, they'll have a gore or a gap. In this one, that little extra area you see is probably when I highlighted that. I had to manually do it, so it didn't line up with the line.
Okay.
Okay, no other discussion, comments on this? Okay, call.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Deb,
Aye.
Mayor Boley,
Aye.
Trenda,
Aye.
Rand,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Shirley,
Aye.
7-0.
This will go to the Alderman in ordinance form at the next meeting, a week from tonight.
Okay, and then we move to the next section of this. So since now it is into the city limits, we need to do a zoning for this property, correct?
Yes, zoning hearing.
And so to set the initial zoning for this property, we're looking at going from county to A1 and AR.
Yes.
You might want to explain again, because we have
Yes.
people on A1 and AR.
A1 is our standard farm ground, ag. It has a minimum lot size of 10 acres. AR is our hybrid created in 2014 that allows for most of the uses of agricultural, but it's AR, so it's more residential associated. The lot size on that is no less than 3 acres if it doesn't have sewer, or 2 acres if it does have sewer. The anticipation of this is the people that own 1801 also own the big farm you can see in the southwest corner of the gray area. So they are preparing to sell their parcel where their house is now and move into their old farm, but they want to add all of that vacant ground to the south. So if you look at this page, you'll see a lot on the bottom. It corresponds with, and I know I couldn't without getting 2 pages, one for each of them. If you look south of the house in the gray area, you'll actually see an angled line, which is a fence. That's the portion that they will be requesting to be zoned AR. The remainder will be A1. All the land around this is currently zoned A1. That's what it is already. So the farmstead will go back to A1, and it will be submitted as a lot line adjustment. You'll get rid of the lot 2 that you can't see very well in here. It will go away, and that doesn't have to go through you. It's just a boundary line adjustment. So they will have a bunch more A1 and then AR on their old house, their new house, which is going to be their old house. So that lot will be sold off, It's about 4-ish acres. I don't remember exactly how much, 3.97 or something like that, in that tract. They will be selling it off later, but they wanted to do all of this up front. So their request is to go from county ag to city A1 and city AR. In order to make this determination, I drafted a findings of fact and conclusions of law that you have on your desk. It goes through the 8 elements that we ordinarily vote on. If you disagree with any of those things, this is where you would make your, after the public hearing, obviously, you would make any motions to amend any of those facts as you see fit. And or item C on the back page of this, that would be the recommendation. Instead of, as you may recall, in September, we went back to this methodology to avoid the confusion of all the 7, 8 votes that we were having. So now it's, if you don't like any of these facts, you make a motion to change it, etc. And when we get to that point, if I have any specific questions procedurally, I'll help you with that. That's all from staff report. I have, and then ultimately, don't know that we're going to have any public comment or public stuff. We do have to open the hearing. Offer.
Is this all on septic?
Yes. Yep.
So there's.
The existing homes are already there. They already have septic. They already have, all the utilities are there. There's nothing unique associated with that aspect of it. And they don't anticipate any new construction. Bringing it back into the farmstead and eliminating a lot. So it will be about a 125, 130 acre parcel, and then the 4-acre parcel.
Do I have anyone from the public that would like to address anything on the zoning of this property? Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and I need a motion to approve the proposed zoning from county ag to A1 and AR for the property at 1801 Northeast 188th Street. Yes,
I move to approve sending the initial zoning for 1801 Northeast 188th Street from county ag to A1 and AR.
Second,
Second.
discussion, questions?
From a procedural standpoint, just to clarify, this document is what you're approving? It still works. Your motion is perfectly acceptable. It works perfectly. But this is the document that, if you vote yes, this will be attached to the ordinance and given to the board as your formal findings unless you change them.
Anything on any of these that you all feel need to be changed or considered? Okay, hearing none, I'll call.
Trenda,
Aye.
Rand,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Deb, Mayor Boley,
Aye.
Shirley,
Aye.
7-0.
Next week, first reading. Thank you.
Okay. Next thing is the single-phase subdivision final plat for 423 DD Highway, 2 lots.
Would you like me to?
Yes, would you?
I presented a staff report.
Plat estates.
Whenever we filled out the paperwork and sent it out to you last week, they had to come up with a name. You now have on your desk the name. They're proposing to name it Little Platte Estates, subdivision of 2 lots. They're laid out as such, as you see. Build lines, everything set up. In addition to the final plat that we see, I've submitted a staff report. This one is already zoned R1. This is, if you're not aware or familiar with the site, this is the old former fuel depot. down at the end of Meadow and where it matches up with EB. All of the fuel stuff was torn out either last year or early this year, I don't remember. And they brought in some soil to be able to build the houses in an area that isn't in the floodplain. Obviously, this map also shows the floodplain limits. That's the dark gray areas on this. Those floodplain limits will require them to build above that on their base floor elevation if they get approval. It's no utilities needed because everything's there. No dedications needed because everything's there. The backside of this is where the location of the proposed connected trail from downtown to the lake, Smithsport Park will be. As you can see, there's plenty of right-of-way. The road is a standard road, but the right-of-way width is 40 or 80 feet. Our standard road right-of-way is 50, so this one's 80 feet. It's the old state highway, so it's got a lot more right-of-way. There's plenty of room for that. No need for dedication. As a subdivision of land, it will require, there's nothing here that they can dedicate to the city from the standpoint of open space, so the subdivision requirements for parkland dedication will simply be the fee associated with that, and we would propose collecting that fee with the building permit. It's a $625 fee for park amenity improvements. It would go to any park within a half mile here. So when these develop, ultimately that money could be used to at Heritage Park, it's got some stuff coming, or even Healthy. Both of them are within the same distance. So, and as you can see through the report, staff report, there's not a lot of stuff here. It's pretty straightforward. It meets all its own setback standards. So, the only thing that I would have you consider if you wanted to adjust would be to require that the lots only have ingress egress off of Meadow and not off of Double D. That's not included in this.
Now, that was my question, which way are they coming into these lots?
I would suggest, based upon the floodplain being on the north side, that they're going to have everything come from the south side. But if you want to make a condition of approval,
Which is which? Let's see.
if you're looking at it this way, north is on top, south is on bottom.
That was coming out on Meadow.
You can make a condition of this that condition of approval is that there be no ingress or egress onto DD Highway to the north.
Is there existing sidewalk on the?
No. No, it's open ditch, no gutter, no curb. And I don't believe further west of there is any sidewalk either on that. I don't believe. I may be wrong.
And I know you said they added, soil, thank you. I'm searching for my word.
Yeah.
You know, has there been a soil test or anything though to see how deep that fuel depot
Well, the fuel depot.
contaminated or anything there?
Well, it was an above ground, not a below ground. So in order to close a below ground, this level of regulation. If it's an above ground, this level. My understanding is soil tests were done because they were all in concrete. The tanks were sitting in concrete, on concrete. My understanding is we don't require that proof of that testing. But my understanding is that there was testing done and there was, on the MoDOT side anyway, there was no leaching, I think is what it's called.
Is there adequate room with the floodplain there? Is there adequate room to build something on those?
They can fit it in, yeah.
Because it looks awfully small. I mean,
What is the size of those lots?
The one on the left, track 1, is 60 some odd, I can't read it very clearly because my glasses are dirty. It looks like it's 60 or 70 feet. I can't see it. They have frontage on the back that meets the minimum 70-foot requirements, and they have 73 on the back. And the other one, obviously, it's 62 and 91 something. So it's 150 foot wide on it. The depth of them is the real issue. This is floodplain, not floodway. So they can build by simply raising the grade. Just like Catfish did down here at KK or
And would
what's
they still
happening.
have to have flood insurance though?
If you get it out of the flood plain area, probably not, but
I
ultimately,
thought if they went back 100 years on the 100-year floodplain and it showed, they,
well, the first thing they would do is after they do this, they would do what's called the letter of map amendment or the letter of map revision. They get it all in there, send it to FEMA, or SEMA and then FEMA, requesting that they adjust their flood maps to get that floodplain area out of it because they raised the grade. We just received 2 of them in the last 6 months on lots. And that's a procedure outside us. We don't, it's directly with the property owner and FEMA. Because it's FEMA's map.
is there any major issue concerns that the city would have of them having egress and ingress off of DD?
It's simply because it's a larger street and we are going to have a trail through there. That would be the only consideration I think you would have. If they build on that backside, keep in mind, because there's going to be a trail there, they're going to have to build a concrete approach that's 6 inches thick with all that steel that would have to go from the existing right-of-way or the existing road all the way up to the edge, so it may be 30 some odd feet. It'd be substantial.
So you don't think they would,
It'd be very expensive to build a driveway there.
but it would be something that we may want to include in this.
And certainly,
because-
Right, I did not address it one way or the other. I would suggest that you consider, if you think it's that important or appropriate, that you seriously consider making an approval conditioned solely on a note on this change that says no ingress or egress onto Missouri Highway DD.
That area appears to be somewhat blind too. She kind of so that would right there create a major traffic hazard if you were to.
We have a general provision in our codes that they are supposed to build the ingress egress on the least lowest rated road from a traffic standpoint. In this case, that would be East Meadow. So we have a provision that requires them to do it, but if you put that condition on there now, it would forever bar them from putting a second driveway entrance into it.
It would just seem safer to go ahead and make that contingent on the easement of ingress egress.
That's certainly a motion that you guys can make and attach.
So Jack, what's the difference between R1 and R1P?
R1P would be that there's some kind of a designated conceptual plan weighing on it. But the P is a planned development. So if it's a bigger one, you've got, for example, the Ps that we've done recently, you'll have a certain number of lots. And it ties into the zoning so that it's harder to make a change. Yeah.
So we need to open the hearing first.
So, yeah.
That's the staff report.
Okay. It's open, do we have someone to would like to address this issue? This is on the single-phase subdivision final plat for 423 DD Highway. So, this is the one.
Sorry for being
That's
premature. Sue was just stepping in, being late. My name is Danny Summers, and I live at 411 East Main Street. So I'm the last house before you get to where the old fuel dump was, to the west of this on Main Street. My uncle built that house back in 1954. The only thing I was gonna say, you always ask about sidewalks. The sidewalks stop at Liberty Road on the north side of the street. That's the last sidewalk. And there is no sewer line from there to on Main Street going east. The sewer line stops at Liberty Road. You was asking about the frontage on track one. It looks like by my math, it's like 61.6 feet, the frontage on Meadow Street on lot one. And I think on the flyer, if I understood it right on the certified letter, it looked like that you all had issued a Main Street address to these. It looked like you had 423, if I remember from the letter. I know
Yeah, it's actually that was the address of the old.
Yes.
And the address of these will change when a new structure gets built.
Right,
And
right.
the address on the meadow.
Right, because that would, my only thing was concerned, I know the sewer line is on the meadow, and then if you used, as a former rural letter carrier, I know it would be very confusing if you used a Main Street address, and the houses, I think, are pretty obvious, they're gonna have to be built, with the driveway on the meadow. So it's probably gonna be Mrs. Van Winkle is 410, and then that vacant lot there would be 412, it should probably be 414 and 460 East Meadow for simplicity. But anyway, that was my only concern, and I just wanted to find out, and I figured, Ronnie's not gonna go to the expense of putting a driveway in at that bank, that what he builds, it'll be on a slab coming off a meadow, both of them. And so the trail will be on the south side of Double D going out there. When is this supposed to happen? Just,
Engineering goes out as soon as possible.
This week, the bid for engineering and design will go out for it.
Right.
And it's that and the commercial project.
Right. From the high school out to
From the high school down to the Hills of Shane.
Which I know I talked
And then construction is supposed to hopefully start, go to bid in February-ish, March-ish for construction next season.
Right.
Because we've already got the new bridge with the big old walking trail.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I talked to the foreman there, the 10-foot wide and everything, so it's a nice bridge. So I assume that's really what that was for.
Yeah, we needed the bridge back.
Yes.
Did engineering.
Right. And it's on the south side for two reasons. Number one, that's where all the people are.
Right.
And on the north side, it's all floodway.
Well, the washout too.
Yeah, the floodway is harder to develop in. The floodplain is on the south side, and you can fill the south side.
Right, right.
So that's the reason.
Because, yes, I want to get my lead cycling instructor. One of these days, I'd like to teach young kids in town about bicycling on the roads. The wife and I ride bicycles, and anyway, so the trails were kind of into that. But something else, just to put a bug in your ear, what I'd like to talk to you about, because years ago, when I was driving a school bus, and I started doing that again since I retired at the end of August. Roy and I, we went to the county, Roy Coulter went to the county, and where Five Corners Road is cut off, we tried to get them to put a tubing in, so the buses could have drove around the east end, the south end of the lake, just on the immediate north side of 92 without getting out on 92. So that's Five Corners Road. If you went out Mount Olivet on the north side of 92, the old road that went by the Mitchell Schoolhouse, that wouldn't tell you nothing, but I've lived here my whole life. But anyway, they could pretty cheaply, they could put a tubing in down there and some gravel and make that accessible for hikers and bikers to where then they'd never have to get out on 92. I had ridden on 92 before out from Blue Water Tower back to the dam road. So it would keep people walking, biking off 92 east, and the east side is much worse than the west side going to Platte City, because the crown of the road is like this. I think you don't have traffic, take your eyes off the road, you're in the other lane if you're not watching. So.
Yeah, and too.
Right. But anyway, I know tonight you're not talking about that, you won't talk about this, but that was my only concerns. And while we're talking about the trail, how big will the sidewalk all be?
It's not designed, but it'll be either 8 to 10 feet.
Right.
8 to 10 foot wide.
Have you went look at what we're doing at 180th Street? It should be similar to that.
Okay, so that is what that, I thought.
That's the trail.
Okay, that's the trail. Yeah. Okay, so we're, dumb question, but where's that gonna go from there, down F?
Eventually, it will go over to Greyhawk.
Okay.
That way, our comp plan and
Yes.
everything has people trails into the park, so that we don't have to build north-south trails, because the
Right.
county's already done it.
Will the trail go through Greyhawk? I mean, is that the idea, to go in that?
To connect to their entrances, yes.
Right,
And
right.
Greyhawk's got a requirement to put a trail entrance, or a roundabout in at Bridgeport now, when their road comes in. And roundabouts are where you can cross over.
Mm-hmm.
They're easy for public,
Right.
pedestrians and bicyclists to cross,
Right.
that's the plan.
Because I know 4 or 5 years ago, the county had some money that they had programmed, it was looking, I mean, the golf courses and stuff, how to get to W Bridge, and then you've got the clean circuit.
And that's why I was asking about the last one, 180, because I'm working with the county to get that connector.
Right.
Jack and I work on some other
Yep.
stuff too.
So it would go from Harborview to Greyhawk, and then kind of cut through Greyhawk south, and then
And
come
then
out
back to
the
the water
north
tower.
side. Yeah,
Back to the water tower.
back
The
up.
goal is to get all of the subdivisions into the Clay County Park,
Right,
and if they want to go north or south, they go through the park.
And
right.
then also Harbor View, they acquired the land from the county, I believe, on their south, or on their east side, and go into the trail too, from our trail.
Mhm.
So there's going to be numerous entrances into those.
Yes,
The plan, the Parks Master Plan changed through this committee several years ago. That eliminate the north-south trails through town,
right.
since we, at least north.
Except Diamond Crest.
Yeah, except north. Well, and ultimately, that's to get them down so they can go head over. But ultimately, is to get folks into the county trail system, which has connectivity when we get the last link from 180th to 188th. When that link's done, you can go from W Highway all the way to downtown Smithville on a bike
Right.
on a protected trail.
Right. So where between 180th and 188th, where is it supposed to run, or where are you all looking at? I'm just being curious.
So the county's trying to acquire the land along Neff Farms.
Right.
We'll go across that side of the golf course.
Yes.
Jack and I are working with the developers on something possibly at south of Wildfire, the subdivision going in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you really would be able to go down the west side of that highway,
Right.
where that park is at.
Yes.
Not only have it dedicated, but have it built.
Right. Yeah.
So we,
Right.
and then we started putting millings down on Diamond Crest Trailhead, which gets you from Dunwoody between Diamond Crest and Clay Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on getting land in Lake Meadows
Mm-hmm.
to be able to take you that way.
Right.
And I'm working with the county, they're trying to either put a bike lane or pedestrian walkway across W Bridge that would get us over to the Smoky Day. And I have talked about the Five Corners as well,
Right.
because I like.
And that wouldn't take much.
I'd love to see you guys at our next race, May 10th, May 11th,
Right.
starting right in front of your house pretty much, so.
But yeah, we, like I say, when I drove the bus for Roy, Ray Kinsey and Ellen Hendricks, and Roy bought them in 1979. Bought the buses for Ray and Cotton. But back then, we talked to the county, trying to get a tubing or something put there. You know, I mean, when the lake gets high, you're not gonna be able to get across it, but in normal conditions, it would be an expensive
The
fix.
county's plan is to get all the town trail, all the city and county trails into Hodge Park.
Right, right. And
That's
tie it
cool.
all together, yes, which is. All right, well, that's, I bored you long enough, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Is there anyone else to speak?
Yeah, I just have a question in regards to that new subdivision. Do we know if they're gonna be single-family dwelling homes or?
Can you please state your name and address for the record and then?
Chris Lentz,
I think
2
that,
Warrior Circle.
are you asking about Eagle Heights?
No, he's talking about this one. Yeah.
Off DD,
It's R1 single family.
single family, so
That's it.
won't be a duplex?
Can't, no. It has to be 2 separate single family homes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so back to the commission then, we'll close the public hearing portion of this. And do I have a motion to accept the single-phase subdivision final plan, which we have facts and finding, or is there?
I'm going to do amend finding the facts to include the ingress egress for the driveway TV from East Meadow Street.
Procedurally, I think we need to make a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion to approve the single-phase subdivision final plan.
Second? Second. Some discussion or changes?
Now I move to amend finding the facts to include driveways on the East Meadow side.
So no, to clarify, the intent of the motion is no ingress, egress
From DD.
from either lot onto BD.
Or is it Main Street? When does the name change?
It'll occur sometime after this.
Okay.
And it's identified on here as Missouri Highway BD, so we will keep that. No ingress, egress.
I'll second the amendment.
Second on the amendment. Now, do we vote on the amendment?
You open the amendment for discussion.
Okay.
If there's no discussion, then you vote.
Is there any other discussion on the amendment with change? Which is number what?
It's actually not.
Oh, it's not numbered on this one. Okay.
And, yeah, we don't have a findings of fact on this. This is simply staff report.
It's C3 on the staff report, basically. Is it, or C2? No?
C3. You're right.
C3. Put my glasses back on. Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? Then we need to vote on the amendment.
Mayor Boley,
Aye.
Deb,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Rand, Trenda, Shirley,
Aye.
7-0.
So now we need a motion to,
We already got a motion. It's been amended. You open the amended motion for discussion.
I vote the amended motion for discussion.
They can bring some flashcards.
Concerns or comments on any other portion that you feel needs to be amended or changed? Hearing none? Now do we need a new motion?
Nope.
Or we just do a
Make a call for vote.
Okay, call for a vote on the amended motion for.
Little five states. We're good. You're good.
All right, Trenda,
Single phase
Aye.
subdivision.
Rand, Greg,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Deb,
Aye.
Mayor Boley,
Aye.
Shirley,
Aye.
7-0.
This will be on next week's board of alderman meeting for approval.
Do we have any other public comment or? Yes, sir.
I would like to make a little more complaint about it, something I've been wanting to say for a while. It has nothing to do with this, but up on Summit, up on the west side, your address of 100 Summit is on the south side of the street. If an emergency vehicle is not familiar with the area, they're going to be willing, since it's an even number, on the north side and the west side of the streets. And I don't know how this, when I'm trying to remember now, I can't think of his name, built that house, I carried the mail up there for years. But anyway, it should be 101 instead of 100. It's a house on the south side of the street up there, and the address that's currently given to it's 100.
Danny, to clarify, is that the corner house, the commercial, or is it?
No, it's up on Summit.
Okay.
It's up next to Everett
So-
Kansas.
So is it the road that goes, the driveway up to the old water tower, those three houses?
No, it's to the west of there. It's the first house to the west of that. It's 100, and it should be an odd number. If you have somebody unfamiliar with the area, they're going to have a heck of a time finding it.
We have,
So what do we do in those situations?
I'll review it, yeah. What we do is ultimately, we send out a letter to change an address. similar to all the folks that got the street address changes that we're working on. The folks that had street address change, we just did it at Major Mall. Major Mall had one address on the county system and a dozen different addresses, all of them odd and even on the west side of 169. So
Right.
here in another 15 days, Randy, I think it's how long that letter's been out. It will change, the Major Mall's address will change. It's just a simple letter we have in-house. I just have to review it, send out the letter to the property owners so that they have the right to, hey, you can't do it because of this, whatever it is. But ultimately, my #1 address is.
Yeah, that's where the problem lies, somebody's not familiar with it.
We have the same problem on Marina and
Right.
the entire road.
And generally, in the United States, I used to drive over the road, but all your addresses on the north and the west are even, and the south and the east are odd. I always remember it by saying like C. You know, that's the odd address, the south and east side of the road and stuff. Okay, that's.
Thank you for
Okay,
bringing that
yes.
to our attention.
Yes, and I can't, for the life of me, I'm trying to think of his name, who lives there now.
I can see his face.
Yeah, I can too. I can too, so, okay.
Right, thank you.
All right, very well.
Hearing no other public comments, close that portion. I did have a new business item that I wanted to bring up before we adjourn, and it's more just a question. I know on the sign, and if the ordinance and stuff is coming to the Alderman meeting, when we did the comprehensive plan on the temporary sign ordinances, I was thinking we did that because we had a lot of people like Larson's Cause, you know, and different entities that came into town and had events or set up shop up in Canada or whatever the case may be. And so for those, because they would put out a lot of signage for a very short period of time, a lot of times then they didn't pick them up, we put that $25 fee out there for that. But yet, you know, when I read through it now, and I know we got letters about the signage going up for like if you're having a sale. And I don't know, I guess I have a concern, if we have businesses in town, we pay taxes, they pay the sales taxes to the city and everything, if you're putting a banner up to say, hey, we got a sale going on, or hey, we got a great rate at the bank going right now, or, you know, down at the old Tipsy Tavern, you know, hey, we got Budweiser on sale for this week. I guess, you know, each one of those businesses are gonna have to pay $25 to be able to sit that little sign out.
Is it 25 or 10?
It depends on what material it's made out of. It's 25 for flexible and 10 for rigid.
So, and, you know, so I guess I just don't, and I see no way for the city to police that as on a constant basis. I see that as an issue, and as I thought back, because I was helped write the comprehensive plan and was on there, to me, I kept thinking, I thought when we did that, it was for, you know, the special event things and things of that nature.
I think,
And
let
so
me
I'm just
clarify.
asking
Sure.
some
We have a
clarification.
provision where there are no fees, but it's only for what's called a civic organization. So Larson's Cruise and 501c3 can get
Right,
waivers.
because they have the 501(c).
The Legion can get it, the school district entities associated with all the school district things can get it, the chamber gets it. In order to get that designation, though, they have to submit an application to the Board of Aldermen, and the Board of Aldermen have to vote on it. Say, yes, you are a civic organization. In that case, all they have to do is submit to us, here's the location and here's the owner's permission. But for all the other signs, it's $10 if it's a hard card. If it's floppy or paper, then it's soft and it's 25. The intent was to
So I
encourage it.
guess, you know, that was the thing, though, I mean, every time somebody has a sale, and, you know, I'm bringing this up because
Sure.
I understand, but, you know, just like us out there on the highway, you know, people are doing 60 miles an hour. If I don't put something up when I have a sale, nobody, you know, you fly by. I in the newspaper one time. But, so then I've got to pay $25 to the city every time I have a sale.
Right.
So
That's the way the ordinance is written. Or you can put a different sign up that allows you to put changeable electronic signs.
So.
For those things, or is it magnetic where you can put letters?
Or the changeable copy
Right,
signs.
or the
Like a
LED
Yeah.
signage
Yeah.
or whatever, but,
Yeah.
so how is the city gonna police something like that? Because I mean, I know, as I went through town,
When it gets bad, here's how we police it. When it gets bad and we start getting complaints of how ugly the city looks, we address it.
it's mostly complaint driven. When you have businesses put up 50 the same sign along 169, there's gonna be complaints, trust me.
Yep.
And they're gonna go on.
And it got real bad, to be quite frank, when, I think it was Compton's, before they came in town. They peppered the entire north of the river, highlighting the stuff that had to say Joe. Or maybe it was this store, they peppered it everywhere. Because I remember driving home seeing
well, I
Compton's and stuff.
remember
It's
the
got- it got-
cruise ship that was down kind of across from Price Chopper.
Mhm.
They used to,
Yeah, yeah. And that used to be they called them the snipe signs, they were everywhere. It was the number one, when I first got here, it was the number one complaint I got. There are more snipe signs out there. And the other thing is, most of them are
we picked
illegal.
some up and the girls were supposed, we had a sale and then it ended and they were supposed to take them down and then they didn't get them down and then 2 weeks later we still had them up. And so.
The bigger
We had them
problem,
up longer than
Right.
ever was intended,
the
but.
bigger problem is most of those little signs, in order to see them, they have to be in the public right of way. You can't put signs in the public right of way. You can't put them on state highway either. So, you put, when I got here, I remember we pulled 360 signs from one business entity on 169, on the signs were back then. You knew that they were all the same, but you didn't know what it was. Because you couldn't see it because you're driving 60 miles an hour by it. That was the onus for why we started that process of changing.
But yeah, if there's you can stop at the board, I'll take it to the next work session and bring it up.
Well, that was just, I just wanted some clarification because I remember when we were writing that, there was a lot of different things we talked about in that. But, I just don't want to also burden our businesses who are, providing to the city and doing that. And it does seem a little, I think.
Your business down there is a little different from this standpoint. If it is not primarily designed to attract people from the road, for example, you have an area where you have something set out. Sale signs out there, so you can see it when people pull into your place. Oh, there's a sale on this aisle or whatever.
Right.
Since you're an outdoor business, those are specifically identified in the code as authorized. But if it was going to be a sign all the way out by the highway saying, hey, come here, and the proposal was to try and get more permanent signs so that we would have a bigger, better sign and not have 3,000 little ones.
Or temporary signs that are tarped over the.
Right. Well, the bigger problem from an internal perspective is if the right-of-way is being mowed by public people, no one ever goes in and pulls those things out, and they're mowing. If you Google, you can Google it, the injuries for mowers hitting it.
Well,
Because
I'm
that
just
those
saying,
metal
what,
spades
they,
become
right there,
projectiles.
Credit Trips, they've had a sign up there a year.
Where's that?
At Citizens Bank, that has their rates listed on it. I mean, but, it's a pretty good sized sign.
Some of them had permits.
And
They have a permit now.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good sized sign.
Yeah.
But, it's,
Yeah, because I think, how many letters did you send out?
I probably sent 20 or 30.
20 or 30 letters out?
yeah. That's what I say, I would think that would be our
Yeah.
city
Yeah.
and possibly
And it generated, obviously, citizens got a permit. I I can tell you right now, somebody did, because I can see all the signs in there.
Johnson.
Yeah, after 10 days or so, the signs, I think, were full.
Yep. Most of them just pulled their signs, some of them came in and got the permits, so.
Okay, well, that was just something I
Sure.
wanted to ask about, because I knew it was coming up, so. Is there any other business that anyone has?
Jack, I just remembered his name, Paul Harrop, Harrup.
Yep. HAROP.
RRUP, of 100 West Summit.
Okay, if nothing else, then I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Need a second? I'll second. And I don't have to have a call for this.
It's a
All in
voice vote.
favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?